A concussion is a type of traumatic brain injury caused by a bump, blow, or jolt to the head or hit to a body that causes the head or brain to move rapidly back and forth. This sudden movement can cause the brain to bounce or around or twist in the skull, creating chemical changes in the brain and sometimes stretching the brain and damaging cells. Concussions are becoming more common in children. The number of ER visits related to concussions rose 57% in children from 2001 to 2009, according to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Falls were leading to the cause of concussions in youngsters, accounting for about 40% of all traumatic brain injuries occurring at the Take a listen to how Box explains how sports and concussions can cause damage to the brain and how the effects are long term and short term.
So people have always known that playing tackle football causes injuries. Okay, I'm going to play football and maybe I'm going to break my legs. Maybe I won't be able to run when I'm 50. Players have known that forever. But what we didn't know is that playing tackle football can cause really long-term brain injuries. There's something a lot less sad about a 50-year-old who can't run versus a 50-year-old who can't think.
The things we do to one another, okay? Hell, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just tired and confused right now. That's why I say I can't really, I can't say it the way I want to say it.
Over the past few years, a number of former players have committed suicide after battling depression. Afterwards, they gave their brains to science, and upon examination, they showed telltale signs of CTE. Scientists don't yet have a way of diagnosing CTE for sure besides doing an autopsy. So apart from the 50 deceased former players confirmed to have it, they can only suspect that hundreds more are living with it right now.
9, 7, 8, 4, 3, 2.
9, 7, 8.
For a while, the NFL was completely repressing research. They were telling players that concussions were a relatively safe type of injury to suffer, but with pressure mounting, the league changed course, settling a class action suit for $765 million and pouring money into CTE research. The issue hasn't gone away at all. The NFL's been trying to solve it, and it seems like they're putting genuine efforts into it, but it just might not be possible. In theory, concussed players are no longer allowed to enter games. They've moved the kickoff 5 yards down the field, so a lot more kickoffs become touchbacks, so you don't have the high-speed impacts happen when the kicking team is trying to cover the kick and tackle the player. They've changed the rules in terms of head-to-head hits. On defense, you can't use your head or your helmet as a weapon. If you're a running back, you also can't lead with your head to hit other players' heads. Those are the easiest things to target. They're kind of the lowest hanging fruit. They can't get rid of concussions entirely, those rule changes. Some concussions happen on the most random incidental plays. I mean, you have these huge, fast guys running at high speed, so even if you ban specific types of hits, we're still seeing concussions happen with alarming frequency. There's another problem. Even if they got rid of concussions completely, some of the scientists think that subconcussive hits, so even milder type of hits that we might not even notice watching on TV, also lead to CTE over time. They're still trying to figure that out, but if that were true, that would basically mean that the game of football as we know it.
The effects of a concussion can be subtle and change over time. Symptoms can last for days, weeks, or longer. Short-term effects of a concussion. After suffering a concussion, many people experience headache and confusion. Some people may experience loss of memory and are unable to remember the event. In addition to loss of balance or dizziness, concussions may cause headaches, temporary loss of consciousness, dizziness, ringing in your ears, nausea, vomiting, or blurred vision. Head trauma is very common in young children, especially in toddlers who are learning to walk, run, and play. Short-term effects may be difficult to recognize in children because the youngsters may not be able to describe how they feel. After a child hits his head, watch for nonverbal clues of a concussion, such as apparent dizziness, tires out easily, irritable, excessive crying, loss of balance, and changes in eating or sleeping patterns. Long-term effects also have the symptoms of concussions developed within hours or days after the brain injury. These symptoms include trouble concentrating, memory loss, irritability, sensitivity to light and noise, and sleep disturbances. Long-term effects of concussions are rare. In fact, the vast majority of people see the symptoms resolve within a few weeks. About only 20% of people might suffer post-concussion syndrome, where they continue to experience symptoms after 6 weeks. However, the more concussions you get, the more likely you are to suffer long-term consequences, especially if you don't give your brain enough time to heal between injuries. Dr.